So before this, my mom always told me that she's really worried and she's praying for me that I would get a good husband. And I told her, like, I trust you, keep praying for me, and I'm also praying I believe I'll get a good husband. So when God brought Jared my way, it was like an answered prayer even for my mom. During dating, the other challenge was the tribe. He is Luo and I am Kikuyu. And so his family were like, Kikuyu women, they'll make you broke, he'll take a lot of money from you. My family were like, no, this Luo man, he's been polygamous or something, he'll marry his own. So that's just the stereotypes that is associated with these two tribes was a challenge. It was not just working. So we had to craft a way of the two of us removing anything we felt was not working for us, even the things we learned from other couples. But I think the main thing for us has been love, because we really love each other. Personally, I love football also so much. I would not miss a match. But at the time, I would ask her, okay, yeah, but she really loves the father. Actually, our daughter loves the dad so much.
Which one? The two?
The small one.
So what has kept you for 18 years? The key to a healthy marriage.
Love. I would say number one, it's love. Like we mentioned, I mentioned my husband has never changed. From the first day he promised to love me, he has loved me. And something else, communication is very key. Another one I would say is sex. Sex is important. So all this has kept us. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes we get angry, we can get misunderstanding. But for the 18 years, I've never actually even contemplated, even thinking about divorce. It has never crossed my mind.
Hi guys, if this is your first time to watch this show, welcome. Please subscribe. Please, if you check my subscribers and we are not at 50,000, you might be the reason. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Subscribe, share my videos, like my video. When you like a video, it's recommended by people who do not even know us. So please go ahead and like this video as well. Excited about today's show, and thank you so much for being part of this community. I really appreciate you. But first things first, number one, I would like to appreciate JK Studios for the amazing job they do in recording this show. If you're looking for a photographer or videographer, planning for a wedding, a party, a party in your office, and you're looking for a photographer, please contact JK Studios. They'll do an amazing job for you. Their number is on the screen. And yes, I'm a gifted girl. Thank you so much. You're making my Christmas already. If you have any gifts, I am ready. I'm ready. So today I've been dressed by, it's my husband. My husband bought me this for my birthday this year. The shoes and this dress. So this was to honor him and to remind other husbands to do the same. And then my friend bought me this necklace. It's written Rodah, Asha and Zai. Those are my children. Today I'm just happy and excited. Then I have more gifts from my friend called Faith from Glitter Point Enterprises. She has a beautiful shop in Gikambura. Gikambura is on Kikuyu Road. And she also has a pickup location in Nairobi CBD and delivers countrywide. So these are the gifts that I was given by Faith, my friend. Her number should be on this screen. These are rules that are needed in every family. Like she has rules for every room in your family. These are wall hangings plus so much more. You can check her out on social media. So I love this one. I'm going to read my two favorite ones. These ones are like, this wall hanging can be in your living room. In our house, we say prayers, we make mistakes, we say please and thank you. We like to have fun. We give big hugs. We say I'm sorry. We give second chances. We are thankful. We forgive. We chase dreams, we love each other, we are family. So you can have this in your house, or you can gift someone this festive season. And then she also has bedroom rules. If you have girls, this belongs to them, reminding them to make their beds, Then you have this one for a boys' room. Remind them to put their clothes away and not on the floor. And then we have dining room rules, reminding your family to keep gadgets away from the table. That's my favorite rule here. And my other one, my number 2 is this one, toilet rules. When someone closes the door in the toilet, they should see this on the door of the toilet. If you lift it, pull it down. If it runs out, replace it. I need this for my daughter. When tissue runs out, replace it. Okay. If you miss it, clean it up. If you are finished, flush it. And if it smells, spray it. I feel like I should do an audio of this toilet one. So thank you so much, Faith, from Glitter Point Enterprises. If you need any of these rules and so much more that she has, please contact the number on the screen and her social media handles as well. Enough of the gifts now. We get to the show, and today's show, you will love it. So today's show, I am really excited. Thank you so much for being part of this community where we talk about marriage. We elevate marriage. The world is doing enough in telling us how marriages are scam, how marriages don't work, how husbands are like this, wives are like that. But on this platform, we are here to remind you that there are some marriages that are actually working, and people are thriving and enjoying marriages out here. And God is restoring marriages as well. So thank you so much for being part of these conversations, and even suggesting people that I should interview, and even suggesting yourselves sometimes. My WhatsApp number is always on the description of the videos. Talk to me and let me know what you'd like us to do better, and who you want us to interview as well. So today, it is my first time. I have never tensed like this. I even called my husband in the morning, telling him, oh, I am here. I don't know what I'll do. It is my first time to interview people who are deaf. I have a couple today. Both husband and wife are deaf. And we also have an interpreter on set today, which is actually giving us an idea that we should always have interpreters on the show, because there is a community that is missing out on this content. So we are praying that God will provide for us to be able to include that in our upcoming shows, especially in the next year, 2025. That is a desire that now I have. So let me introduce the couple to you today. If I fail in any way, forgive me, it's my first time. I don't even know where to look. But I know I should be looking at you. So welcome to the show today. I am really excited to have you. Thank you for coming in good time. They were here before. Let me not even mention names. They were here in good time, so I really appreciate that. What we do here, we introduce one another. So Nancy is going to introduce her husband to us today. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be in this show. It's also my first time to be here, and I appreciate. Thank you for inviting us and for giving us this opportunity also to create awareness about deaf couple. So I'm going to introduce my husband, who is right here next to me. His name is Jared. He's deaf, and his sign name is this.
Jared.
Yeah. We've been married for almost 19 years now. And we thank God for He's been leading us in everything. We're blessed with 2 children, 2 daughters. Our first daughter is 16 years old, and our second daughter is 3 years old. Our first daughter is right now in high school. She's be joining Form 3 next year. Our second daughter will be joining PP1 next year, and we thank God for that. My husband here works for a deaf organization called Door International. And what they do at Door International is to do sign language Bible translation. The same way we have translation for the hearing people, there's a translation for the Bible for the deaf people that is meant to impact their life spiritually. He works as a consultant. And as well, he also have another responsibility of being the African translation director, among other main responsibilities. And I thank God for him. Wow. He has been a good husband. We've enjoyed our marriage for all these years. Thank God.
Wow. We have something in common. I also have a teenager and a toddler. So we are running together. Running together.
Wow. That's really nice.
Thank you so much. I'd like to know about Jared's personality. Is he a quiet person? Is he... Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think he's more quiet. He's really a calm person. And I would say actually it's 50-50. There are times that he can be very active, other times he's so quiet. But I like that. And he's also very funny. I find him to be very hilarious. Most of the time in our family, he makes us laugh all the time.
Wow.
That's something I enjoy.
Wow, thank you so much. Now it's time for Jared. I know this is the sign language for Jared to introduce your wife, Nancy, to us.
Hi.
Hi.
So thank you so much for this opportunity. We feel really honored and humbled to be the first deaf couple to be on this show, and we're ready to share our lives. So I'm going to introduce my wife. Her name is Nancy. Her sign name is that. Yeah, like that. So I know for us, for the hearing people, you can call the name Nancy Jared, but for us, we have to have a sign name. That's why I know when you continue with this experience, you'll learn about sign name and how we deaf people refer to one another. So yeah, this is my wife, and she has mentioned that we've been together for so many years that she has said about our family and our children. So I think because she's mentioned that, I won't repeat. Just about our lives, she has brought a lot of joy in my life.
Aww.
And I feel really blessed to have married her. I pray that we continue the same way.
Oh.
About her personality, I think she really loves work. She's such a hard-working person.
Oh.
And also she's a family person. She loves taking care of our family. And anytime when I'm not there, I'm never worried because I know she does the best.
Yeah.
She takes good care of family. She supports in every way. And that makes me very happy.
Wow.
And I also see her like she's such a hard worker. That's the one thing I like about her. In the house, she's always busy ensuring everything is okay. And that also impacts me and influences me in a very positive way. And normally she's very ready to help. For example, sometimes when I'm not there, I know she's ready. When I'm having any challenge, I share with her, and I know she's always willing to help. That is one thing I really like about her character. And that makes me to just focus on my family easily.
Yeah.
And again, we feel we're such a best match for each other.
Oh, that is so sweet. And what does she do for a living?
Mostly she's at home. She's just taking care of our family, of our children, taking care of the family. So she's a stay-at-home mom, I would say. But previously, she worked at different places. There's an organization named SASA, that she worked with. There were a group of women that she was leading. These were women, maybe deaf women who had challenges. Maybe they are single mothers with children. Some of them were maybe divorced. So this organization would support them to equip them with the life skills, and maybe through knitting, beadwork, and they will do different merchandise, and then they sell to earn an income and become independent. So my wife is really skilled at training and leading such kind of women and supporting them in doing such work. Then later on they would sell and earn an income from that. So that's the job she did. And she was leading that team actually for nearly how many years? So 6 years. She did that work, and then After some time, there was a small challenge at the organization, and then she had to step aside. So after that, she's been staying at home, a mom, mostly taking care of our children. And then at some point, she started a business, which she does part-time. And then mostly she's taking care of me and our family.
Does she want to tell us about her business? Maybe her customers are here.
Like I would sell cereals, beans, different cereals, like 3-4 years. Yeah, so, and then I also had some health issues. That's why I went a bit slow on it. But mostly I do that, and I also bake. I can bake different things. And then if somebody make an order, I'm able to bake for a client, maybe have a birthday or something. So most of the time I do that. I can make cakes and also cereals or mandazi, biscuits, cookies, such things. Yeah, but mostly I'm focusing on taking care of our family.
The family for now. Thank you so much. Today we are doing things differently because I would also want a summary of your personal stories. Were you born deaf, or is it something that happened later? What is your story? Yes, you can start with Nancy.
Okay. I was actually born hearing. We are 11 in our family, and I'm the last born.
Yeah.
So my parents are also hearing. And being a last born and born hearing, I think we just had a regular family up until I was about 10 years old. Then I got sick. I had meningitis. I went to the hospital. I was admitted for 6 months. Then later on, when I was discharged from hospital, actually, most people thought I was going to die. But then I lost consciousness for some time. People thought I had died, actually. But then when I came back to consciousness, I had lost my hearing. And my family, they had never interacted or seen any deaf person. I was the first one. Even going to school, it was difficult. Before I became deaf, I was in school up to class 3. Then after I became deaf, my parents tried taking me back to the same school to integrate me. It was difficult. Then because sometimes they took me to some people who would pray for me. They took me to different places. Even went to Kisumu. I was taken to Nyeri. If there was any prayer meeting, my mother would go with me. Even for prayer conference. One time we went to Dika. There's a prophet who came and said they would heal people. They would heal the people with disability. I didn't want it personally, but then they insisted that we just go to this prayer. But later on, she had to accept. But then it was a bit difficult experience for my mom and my entire family. So after this, they had to look for a different school. I stayed home for like 1 year when they were trying to figure out where to take me to school. Then one time my auntie helped to find a school that was 7 kilometers away from my home. And when that was not too far, when I went to this school, we did an interview, and I found a deaf school. My life became very different, and I enjoyed learning. I started enjoying learning from there, interacting with other fellow deaf people up until class 8. Then I moved to Form 1, and when I finished Form 4, I went to a vocational training. I learned tailoring. And then later on, I joined Door International to learn about Bible translation, continuous Bible stories, chronological Bible stories. And so I did that for some time. And later on, I moved to Machakos. Machakos, I was teaching. When I moved there, that's when I met with Jared.
Oh, what's your story, Jared? I know Jared.
Okay, for me, I was also born hearing. Up to about when I was 5 years old, I also became sick. The same sickness, meningitis. When I was sick and my leg was swollen for some reason, and my mom took care of me. We went to the hospital. And then later on, when I got well, I lost my hearing. But from age 0 to 5 years, I can't remember any speech that I had, but I'm told that I spoke before. So then when I became deaf, my family were really worried because they were like, we've never seen any deaf. So some people who are born with disability, we saw some families disown them or something, but my mom, she never disowned me. She took me to different hospitals. She started moving from one hospital to another, trying to help how they could restore my hearing. So after trying this for some time and also getting advice from other people, she accepted, and even my family accepted. Now, like what my wife has explained about being taken to different prayer meetings with the hope that somebody would pray for me to have my hearing back, I also experienced the same before my family accepted. But I'm glad that after they accepted, they started taking very good care of me. And everybody in my family, my father is polygamous. He has 2 wives. And sometimes I say maybe this other family would think like, this family, because they have a deaf child, probably they won't do well in life. This deaf child will not turn into anything in future. But then my parents, they didn't give up, so they started looking also for where we could get a school that is a good fit for me. So finally they found a school. There's a school in Kisii. So when they went to look for this school in Kisii, and they were told like, this school, we have integrated, maybe actually we went for assessment first at Kisii. So they were advised that you can take them to an integrated school, or you can look for a deaf school. And then my parents got a school near Pangani. It was an integrated school actually. I learned together with the hearing people. But before this time, there's a deaf school in the village that I joined in my village. But my parents were in Nairobi. So when they took me to this village school, it wasn't comfortable. I stayed there for a very short time. Then they got this school near Pangani, which is integrated, and I was able to move back to stay here. When I joined this school, I found fellow deaf people, and it was really nice. I started enjoying. When I was before in a school where the teacher would only speak orally, and I'm a deaf person with the integrated students, it was really a challenge because I would not really understand much. And then sometimes when the other student would get to move to the next class, it would be hard for me to move. So then later on, I continued in this school, learning with lots of challenges, of course. The teacher would just speak orally, and I would always be behind the rest of the students. But there was a small challenge anyway. And then later on in my life, when I moved out of school, I would meet with other deaf people, and they would encourage me to move to a deaf school. So I went and asked my parents if I could join a deaf school. They agreed. And now my school started becoming very better. And so that's where I am today.
Wow. So before we started the interview, Jared, Nancy, and Adoyo here were signing and leaving me out. Like they were just laughing and doing all these things and doing this, and I felt so left out. And I wondered, is that your life? Is that most of your life, where people are talking, you're watching Rodah Kidula show, you can't hear anything? Is that how your life has been, Nancy?
Yeah. That has been it. That's exactly how it's been. Like, for example, when you interview couples, one time a friend of ours, her name is Nyanjugu, she sent us an interview, but then it was all spoken. People were talking, and I was like, I really want to understand what is in this interview. There was no interpretation, so I couldn't understand. That really felt the same way you felt today when we were talking. You were like, what are they talking about? That's exactly how we always feel. And so for us, it's most of the time. I'm glad you've experienced.
I am glad I've experienced. So Who saw who first here? We're talking about how they met. Okay, tell us the story. The one who
Jared.
saw first. Jared.
So for me, I actually saw her first. As she explained, she was doing some work in Machakos. There's a center there. They were actually doing a training for Bible. And then there were also people who are cooking for these people. She was training people, and Mia was part of the people who were preparing meals and just organizing for about 3 years. I was there. I was working there already. And then different students would come learn and then move. They come up, learn about the Bible, learn about computer, and then they move out.
Yeah.
So after that, maybe they would be helped to set up some business. So I was working in this institution and just trusting God. I didn't know what God had in plan for me. So, but most of the time I would always pray that God to give me different things. I would always tell God, this is the kind of person I want. These are the things I'm trusting you for. So I continued with my work in this center. Then one day, I think actually before we were in the same organization, and then when we graduated, she went home. And for me, I went to work for an organization called a different organization, but they were looking for a deaf teacher who could come and train. Then I remembered she had graduated from this institution, but I didn't know her. I didn't even have her contact. So some other guys contacted her, and she came to this institution, and she came to teach. Her work was to teach, and I saw her, but we had never really interacted previously. I just remember I'd seen her previously, just bits and bits of her singing somewhere, but we didn't really have an engagement, a serious engagement with her.
Yeah.
So this time when she came to work at the same institution where I was working, she came as a teacher to teach other deaf people. And so Mia had gone ahead, and she was teaching these people about tailoring, about Bible. So I started seeing her, and later on, I know sometimes she really likes singing, and me, I also enjoy singing. So sometimes both of us, we would come and sing. We would talk, maybe can we sing about this song? That's how we started connecting. And sometimes we would do like drama, and we realized that most of the time our likes were the same. She tells me about this song, I'm telling her about this song, and it's the same thing that I was thinking about. And so as we were doing this from time to time, at one time we were going for practice and just planning for a special event. There was a celebration that was upcoming, and then I was there singing, and she was there singing. And then as she was singing, I just felt something in me, and there's a way I realized she was also looking at me, and it was like, oh, would she be thinking of the same thing? Then I left it at that. We continued singing together, practicing and singing in different situations. But every time I would see her, you know, sometimes when your eyes meet with somebody, there's a way we could just have a communication. But most of the time I would tell myself, no, I shouldn't be thinking of what I'm thinking about this girl. Let me just focus on the singing.
Yes.
But then I went and started praying and asking God, like, could she be the person that you prepared for me? And then I know even herself, she was, I didn't know she was waiting for me actually. She came to reveal this later on.
We will wait for her to tell her side of the story. You tell us yours.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, but just the way we were looking at each other, I would sometimes feel like, okay, sometimes we're singing in groups, sometimes it's just the two of us singing, going for practice, doing drama and skits, things like that. So, and every time when we would look at each other or we would stand next to each other, there's a way I would feel the chemistry. And I was just feeling like, okay, there's something I'm feeling about this girl.
Yeah.
And it kept growing and growing. And I would go to my room when I'm alone, I would ask God, like, God, please tell me if she's the one, because the way I'm feeling, I don't know. I don't want to mess.
Yeah.
And remember, before I'd told God exactly what I want. So I asked God, is it, would I go and meet this girl and will I find favor?
Yeah.
So then after like a week or so, we would meet again. Eventually, I felt like there was this one time in the evening, I was walking, then I met her. I just decided like, oh, why not? Because most of the time we would also bump on each other. When we bump on each other, I look at her, she looks at me. Of course, there was some chemistry that I was feeling. But then I would tell myself, no, I need to focus. Then this one time in the evening, I met her and I told her, okay, I'd like to have a chat with you later if you have some time.
Yeah.
And then she was like, okay, no problem. Then later on that evening, we met. And then I asked her, I started asking, how are you? How have you been? How's your life? I know we've been singing together. We've really been enjoying each other's company. But I feel like I just want to know more of you. Because there's something I'm feeling about you.
Ooh.
And then at that moment, I was waiting eagerly. I don't know what she was about to answer. But then I said to her, like, I was also very careful. So I told her, okay, before you answer, I think maybe we could pray. And I just want to know more about you, how your life has been. And also want to, I'll open up about myself to you, how it has been. So even her, after we prayed, then we started opening up, we started chatting, and then I asked her, okay, maybe can we pray about this and see where the Lord will lead us? She said, no, I've already prayed and I feel it's okay. I told her, no, it's okay. I feel we need to pray some more so that we're sure that this is what the Lord wants for us. Yeah, so even for me, I was like, yeah, I think we've already prayed enough. I can't wait anymore. So we said, okay, let's keep talking. And then she went her way. She went to her way. She kept praying. I went my way. I kept praying about the same. And then I felt like now it was a yes for me. But we had to meet again. Every time we met, we prayed. And I would ask her, how are you feeling? You prayed about this matter. Is the Lord saying something? And for a long time, she told me, let's wait. I'll let you know. And then the one time we met, and she was like, it's a yes for me. I feel it's a yes. And then for me, at that time, I was also feeling a lot of peace in my heart. And I really feel God was in this.
Yeah.
Because from that time, we agreed that we're going to be together, start this journey of life. And we started our love story. From that point. But when I loved her, I know I started loving her way before this meeting, way before this evening that we met and talked. And yeah, I've continued loving her. And it has become like a movie. Yeah, it's been a beautiful story.
Oh, we clap like this. Yay. We need her side of the story now. Why did you pray for 2 years?
I was telling me to pray, but of course inside of me, I knew that it was a yes.
Oh.
But then I had to just wait from the Lord to confirm.
Okay.
Yeah, so then also he was for the idea that we need to pray. And I remember it was in the month of October in the year 2006.
Now you see how she remembers dates.
Yeah, it was October 2006. That's when actually we started dating seriously. And it has changed our lives forever. And I really thank God for that moment. So before this, my mom always told me that she's really worried and she's praying for me that I would get a good husband. And I told her, like, I trust you, keep praying for me, and I'm also praying, I believe I'll get a good husband. So when God brought Jared my way, it was like an answered prayer even for my mom. Yeah, so even when we started dating, I really appreciate God. It has been a blessing Of course, there have been challenges, but God has been leading us through each and every one of them.
Did any of them want to get married to a deaf spouse?
Yeah.
Oh.
Personally, I was hoping from ever since I knew I want to marry a deaf person, because I've been brought up by a hearing family and I've seen the challenges of communication. So I knew I would want somebody that would communicate well. But my family, definitely, they would prefer a hearing person. And their reasons were, like, for example, if a visitor comes at home, you can easily hear. If there's a child crying, you can easily hear. But for me, my heart was for the deaf, and God has been so faithful.
Oh, was that the same?
Yeah. Even for me, it's been the same. Yeah, my dream, my vision has always been to marry a fellow deaf person. And for almost the same reason. I've seen how I'm treated in the family, how I relate with them. And I feel because of the communication barriers, the relationship become more superficial. And I feel I need freedom. I need to connect properly with somebody, and this can only happen with good communication. Yeah, so for me, my vision and my dream was always to marry a deaf person. And yeah, I also said if God had planned different for me, I would still have accepted, but then He would have to make a way of how to communicate.
Yes.
With his spouse.
Okay. When you became deaf, did anyone in your family deliberately learn sign language so as to communicate better with you?
Yeah, for me, in my family, I would say growing up, my brother, I have 3 brothers. The one that follows me immediately, he was actually very keen and interested in learning sign language. And he tried very well. Sometimes I would teach him most of the time. But then he would not fully grasp everything. So he would just help us bit a bit. Like, for example, if we're at home, we need to have basic communication. This particular brother would help me. But because I've also learned to understand how he's signing, this is more for the family. But then if he gets out of the family, he's not able to communicate maybe even with any other deaf apart from me. Yeah. So some people would get interested, but for me, my family, the person who follows me immediately, he's been very keen. Sometimes maybe my mom, my other family members want to communicate with me, they ask him to assist. And he's able to help. But the rest of the family members, not much. So my mom, specifically, we are very close. You know, as mothers and their sons, we are close, we really love each other. But in terms of communication, it's not working well. But then because we've been close for too long, we just find a way of communicating to each other, though it's not very perfect. Like recently she has been sick, and of course she has to communicate with me more. The rest of the family, no, just doing a little of, not official sign language, but the family way. We figure out something how to communicate.
Okay.
My case is just the same with him. My whole family, nobody really is signing. There's one of my sister who is trying. I would say she's making effort. But you know, in the village, they talk about mother tongue. They use mother tongue mostly. And some sign language like go farm, drink tea. Just basics communication that anybody would try to use. Like my mom, I understand her best when she's communicating. It's not official sign language, but we've crafted a way of communicating at home, basically.
Oh, okay. Let's go back to dating. What was the hardest part about dating? And how long did they date? Jared, you started this story. Jared.
Is this for me or for her? We actually dated from 2006 to 20. Actually, I think we started knowing each other from 2005.
2006.
And then, officially we started dating in 2006. Then 2007, there we made a decision that we are going to be together. Then that's actually in 2007 when we got married. And I think for us, we were living in Machakos at this time when we started dating. Her family are very far away in the village. My family were around Nairobi here. And so we went to Machakos to work, definitely. And as we were dating, it was okay. But then the challenge was sometimes maybe we planned something, but actually we were not allowed to date inside this work. So we were like, we had to move out. And so at some point we felt like one of us has to resign so that we could continue dating. So we thought it's better for her to resign. So she resigned, and then she went to, because our family is far away, she went to live with my family who are in Nairobi. And then it wasn't too comfortable. There was a challenge. So we sat down and I asked her, okay, is it possible for you to go back to your village and stay there for some time? And she was like, no. I think you're going to change your mind if I go away. I'm not going. No. I'm not leaving from your family home. So I think that part was a bit of challenging because even her staying with my family when I'm not there with my brothers and sisters.
Before marriage?
Yeah. No. That time we were dating. We hadn't married. But I think there was a challenge there, especially with my family, her being there with them, and we're actually not married. I think the biggest challenge specifically was my mom. They were not understanding. Is it your girlfriend? Is it your fiancé? Are you married? Are you going to bring some other hearing person? So I think that clarity, it was a bit of a challenge because we were actually dating, but then they were like, are you guys going to end up in marriage or what exactly? But the two of us, we were very deeply in love and we knew there's nobody who was going to put us asunder. So I think for me that was a challenge, and this was a good challenge because it pushed my mom to call us for a meeting and ask us like, we want to pray for you, but we need you to help us. What do you need? And then we decided, okay, we would request maybe we'll move out of this house, but then we pray that you continue praying for us. And then my mom felt like if they're not going to accommodate her, I'm willing to move out with her. So at that point they knew like our love was really strong. And I asked my family asked me, are you ready for us to go meet her family? And I was like, that's fine. So we went, me and my family, we went to her place, we met her family, and we had a discussion. And before that, she had informed her family that she has somebody we are dating and she'll be bringing me home. And when both our families met, we agreed on everything, we agreed on dowry, and her family were very supportive as well. And they were like, that's fine, you go ahead. If you want to start staying together, when are you going to pay the dowry or something? So they said, they made it very easy for us. We moved out, we started staying together. I think that was still in 2007. And we had a group in church. We called this group in church. We informed them that the two of us, we would like to live together as husband and wife. So we have decided, both of us have decided. And the people in church prayed for us. They just made a short prayer. It wasn't like, we didn't have money, we didn't have much for like a big wedding or something. So this time, remember, I said, well, my job was really small, but then we had made a decision. So after we got prayed for in church, we moved to our own house. We got a small house and we started living together. And this point actually was even more challenging. But we trusted God to lead us through. So we didn't give up. It was really tough. financially, paying rent. This was tough for us, I must say. Yeah, so we look for opportunities, but God led us through it all. And today
look at
it's
you
a
now.
testimony.
Yes, her side of the story. So I want to clarify, they didn't do a wedding.
Later we will get to the wedding part.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think for me, during dating, the other challenge was the tribe.
Oh.
He is Luo and I am Kikuyu.
Oh.
And so his family were like, Kikuyu women, they'll make you broke, he'll take a lot of money from you. My family were like, now this Luo man, he'll be polygamous or something, he'll marry his own. So that's just the stereotypes that is associated with these two tribes was a challenge. So both families were actually worried, and my mom made it, I would see it, but then she was a bit careful because she knew I would be very hurt if she refused my man. But later on, she accepted. And even his mom was very careful. Now this Kikuyu lady, how will it be? Will she be a good person, or is she going to be a bad one? So, but we didn't give up. So we are glad. Our parents had their concerns because of the tribal differences, but we're glad that everything turned out perfect.
Wow. You have a 16-year-old. So did you get pregnant in the first year of marriage?
No. What happened after we got married, after the parents met and agreed, that was in 2007 in April. The parents accepted, agreed, and we said, that time he said he didn't have anything even to give us dowry, but we agreed that later on he will come and do the dowry payment.
Yeah.
So we started living together, but I got the baby in 2008 November. November, right? Yes, that's when we got our daughter. Yeah, so after we got the blessing of the parents, I got this pregnancy after like a year. So we started dating in 2016, got married 2017, then about maybe 2 years later, we got this our daughter.
How was their first year of marriage? How was your first year of marriage? Was it easy?
I wanted to run away. As a new marriage, then in a short time there was a baby. I think it was it's a bit overwhelming, but he kept encouraging me. Yeah, so I also got to know that from different people. He was really encouraging me. Yeah, but then we were ready for this. For the first time, it was interesting, I must say. We started enjoying, but then the responsibility started coming up.
Yes.
We need to do this. You need to clean the house. You need to wash. You need to iron his clothes. I hadn't foreseen this, so I felt like it's better to go back to my parents' house because the job, there's very little work there for me. Being a last one, they didn't give me much to do. But then here it comes. I remember one time I told him, please allow me to go back to my parents' house. And then he was asking me, why you don't love me anymore? Why do you want to go back to your parents' house? You had promised to love me and to stay with me. Do you remember when you were dating? So then he gave me so many reasons, and I felt like, oh yeah, it's true. I love you and I would want to stick with you. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I would actually go shortly to my mom,
then come back to marriage.
Then come back. Yeah, so, but then one time she asked me, are you married to me or your mother? Why do you have to keep going? I think actually the first 2 years, that was a kind of a challenge. Yeah, I would go to the village once in a while, then come back and stay with him. And so that was it. For the first year, I think that was a bit difficult because I didn't have any experience, of course. So, but right now, I feel marriage life is so sweet. The family, the children, everything, I love it.
Jared's experience, first year.
Wasn't easy at all. But again, sweet, I would say. Yeah, so for the first year, for me, my family was staying in Nairobi, as I mentioned before. And when both of us we first moved very close to where my family was staying, so that just in case anything happened, I knew we would get a fallback plan. I know she loved my family very much, but again, you know, just as is expected, sometimes my family would feel entitled, like, this is our son, he need to do this for us, he need to come here. But her, she would feeling like, you need to let us be independent. We are now married. So the family sometimes would feel like they are kind of interfering with our family. But then every time we would try to move away from my family, they would feel bad. And so for the two of us, sometimes we would like, I would ask her, okay, I'm coming shortly, I have some meeting, then I would go to my family. And that would make them feel better. But again, her, she would not like that. If I leave her alone, yeah, the same way, even for her, she would go to her mother and I would complain.
Yeah.
And you see, her village is very far. At least for me, my parents were here in Nairobi. So I would also do the same. And when I realized she was uncomfortable, sometimes I would just hide from her, go to my family, then come back. But then every time I would be like, my mind is a bit divided. I want to stay with her, and I know I also miss my mom, I miss my family. So that striking that balance was kind of a challenge. But then as the years moved on, with experience, learning from each other how to balance family, I would tell her, okay, can I go say hi to my family? And even her, she would be like, okay, could I go say hi to my family maybe for one time? But I think the first year for me, that balancing and also practicing just new things, lots of new things. So for us, when we got married, actually we didn't have like a pre-married or somebody teaching us how marriage is going to be. So we just went to it, but we just believed God, and maybe started learning from other friends, fellow friends. Whenever we would face a challenge, then sometimes we would be like, I would think like, she's becoming disrespectful to me, and I'm the man, how do I even go about this? So how do we sort about this issue that has come up? Most of the time, we would take time, like personally would take time once the situation has come. So I would ask her, why did you do such a thing? Then her, she would be like, but why did you do this? So we would not agree on some things, even how to resolve conflicts. And so every time this would come up, we just learn from our own experience, basically. A better part of our journey, it's been learning from each other. And then we joined church. From church, we started learning from other deaf couples, sharing with them maybe our challenges, them sharing with us. Then we'd be like, oh, then we took these lessons, we make it personal to us. Sometimes we would be like, so how can we make something work for the two of us? Before I would tell her, because I'm the man of the house, if I tell you something, you need to follow it. Before I also saw how my father is the one who was making all the decisions at home. So I expected the same in my family. But at the same time, this is not really working. If I really love her, I feel I need to have a discussion, not just telling her like, I am the head of the family, you need to follow this. So sometimes, for example, we even use our friends. This couple is the man who is always making decisions at home. I think we need the same. Sometimes I would even meet with this man on the side, and they tell me like, yeah, your wife should take water for bathing for you in the bathroom. They should do this. And I'm like, oh, so this is how it's supposed to happen? So I come home, but I didn't feel like I need to order around like that, because I really love her. But then I would see some couples are doing their things so differently. Like every family is different. It's unique. And so we decided that we need to build our own unique marriage. Just the two of us discussing. And I also realized anytime when I would order her around, it was not just working. So we had to craft a way of the two of us removing anything we felt was not working for us, even the things we learned from other couples. But I think the main thing for us has been love, because we really love each other. Personally, I love football also so much. I would not miss a match. But at the time, I would ask her, okay, I'm going for a football match, but I would see like she's not comfortable. Sometimes she would not even voice this out, but I would see she's not comfortable. So I want to go, my heart wants to go, but at the same time I'm looking at her, I really love her, and I can see she's not comfortable. So then I would just try to tell her, and she's like, no. Yeah, so sometimes when I would go without her consent, when I come back home, I would see the sadness in her face and she's not happy. So I also learned from that. I'm like, oh yeah, so every time before I do something, we need to be in agreement.
Yes.
So it has been learning and practicing and making mistakes. Yeah, I think for me also to add something, on the first year, there's something that was... we learned that we both wanted a child.
Oh.
And so, again, sometimes some of his likes and my likes were different. And maybe it's how to discipline children. We also realized sometimes it was different. His concept and my concept of disciplining, how much you can be flexible, how much you can let be, was very different. So, for example, I get angry very fast. Like as a mother, I would take something and spank the baby very fast. But then for him, he'd be like, no, you need to. So those are some of the things I learned from him. He has actually taught me so much, even about myself. Even using Bible examples. And that's something I appreciate about it, because it has helped me improve so much from my end. Because sometimes when I learn like, oh, he doesn't like this, he doesn't like this, and then we learn together like, oh yeah, I understand, those are his dislikes, these are his likes, then I try to make a balance so that we have a peaceful coexistence. And that has actually helped me to become a better person over the years. I feel I've really grown having been with him.
Oh, how was the pregnancy journey? Yeah.
Okay, so for the first time, we agreed that we'll get children. The moment the parents agree, we are going to start looking for children. Yeah. And so we knew maybe from 2008, we really wanted a baby. And then when I missed my periods, I knew in 2008, I knew that I was expecting a baby, and I was really happy. So the first daughter was easy. Then when I eventually gave birth, it was also, I was very happy. And during my pregnancy, I would go to conferences, some of them deaf conferences, to learn about motherhood. And then about, I think 5 years later, we wanted another baby. And it happened that I was pregnant. Ectopic. Then the second baby, I had the ectopic pregnancy and I lost it. Then that is the point. I actually felt it was part of the around the same time that I felt I needed to leave my work and stay at home. 2015, we actually did our official wedding in 2015. So, but previously we had just married. We were not financially any stable, so. Oh, sorry, 2014. That was in 2014, not 15. In August, 23rd August, 2014. That's when we did our wedding, official wedding. And then after this wedding, we thought we needed to maybe look for another child. When we tried, we had a miscarriage. And then he told me, I think it's enough. Let's just have this one daughter that God has blessed me with. Let's stop, because I'm thinking you're having health challenges, or I don't know why we're losing these babies. So he said, like, it's okay, let's accept this one daughter. But then later on, we went to the hospital and asked the doctor why we lost this baby. So the doctor told us to go for another appointment. And then when we went to the doctor, actually after getting counseling, I was checked. There was not any big problem with my health, but then the doctor just encouraged us to avoid stress and just be calm. If God gives us another one, that's fine. So we came to accept this fact. And then in the month of October, the same year, I got pregnant again. And then we went to the hospital, and the doctor said, I had advised you that if you want another baby, you need to come as a couple, so we start a journey together. 2021 or 2021. That's when we went back to the hospital, but I was already pregnant. So we were actually not even expecting. And then when I realized I was expectant, before getting this pregnancy for this second baby, in between, I'd lost actually some other pregnancies. And so it was a lot of challenges, also trusting God for maybe a second until we were almost accepting. Again, it also happened. Now we got this second baby successfully, but again, unfortunately, about three weeks, I had another miscarriage. I was just expecting a baby, but we lost it again. I think now it's almost 3 times when I'm getting miscarriages. Yeah, but we give it up to God, and we still just accept His happening. But then those were the challenges for health. But for 2 of us, in terms of marriage, it hasn't been like any big challenge we can say. Yeah, so for me, when we asked the doctor actually before, like why is it that I'm not able to carry this baby to term? The doctor told us that there are different reasons that could make this, but he really encouraged us that even if you lose the baby, keep trusting God, and that in some time God will give you a child, and don't listen to negative voices. Same. So both of us, we have kind of accepted, right, to just have this.
Now we have 2 and accepted it.
I have a gift for your teen daughter. Sorry to interrupt the conversation. My name is Flora Kidula, and I present to you this book for my beautiful teen girl. It's a gift challenging the teen girl to have godly values. It talks about many issues that they go through and inspires them to be better teens. See details on the screen of how you can get it. Thank you.
I would like to hear how Jared handled the miscarriages and disappointments.
Yeah, so as she has mentioned, in 2008 we got our first baby, and it was really normal. There was no challenge, there was no problem with this pregnancy. And then after that, we agreed maybe we wait for some time, and then we can get another baby. So after we agreed, as she has explained, she got an ectopic pregnancy. And also, of course, it was risky for her health, and we understood. Somebody helped us to understand. And so that is the time I mentioned she was leading these women, and we also felt like it was important for her to take some rest, and there were some challenges there. So she stepped aside from her work, and she stayed at home just to help her recuperate and see how we could try to take care of this baby. Then after some time, again, we got another baby. It was a miscarriage. For me, I just remember from the first baby, this is our first daughter, everything else that has happened in between here, the ectopic, the miscarriages, I believe that it's not anybody that maybe is blocking us, or maybe some people are saying you have traveled. That's the reason. Maybe you are doing mission work. Sometimes I go for mission work out of the country, even with my family, or sometimes I leave them behind. So some people might want to come up with different reasons as to why this happens. Why the miscarriage, but for me, I just understand that the way God has given us, and for me, I feel having her is a priority, is a big blessing already. So I'm never really worried much about the children. Of course, I would be happy, but I know her health comes first. So every time, in whatever happens, in all the disappointments, I always learn to focus on God. Sometimes, of course, I've asked God, like, why, God? Yeah, because we can see we are really expectant and hoping that we're going to have this baby. Sometimes we even have games, say, I hope it's a boy, I hope it's a girl, and the excitement is there. But then if God decides differently, we accept. And over the years, I've just come to accept and depend on God's willingness. And so for this second baby, actually, after the first one, then we had all those miscarriage in between. Then we went to the hospital. Then the doctor told us that if you want to get another pregnancy, we need to come, we start the journey together.
Yeah.
We walk with you through the journey from the beginning. But then we just said, okay, I think we're not going to stress ourselves so much on this. If God allows us to have another baby, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then it happened, even before we went to the doctor, we realized she was pregnant, and then we rushed to the hospital very fast. But everything went well. When we went to this doctor, he was even shocked, like, oh, how did this happen? I actually didn't know. So have you gone to another hospital maybe to see how this happened? But then for us, we were like, no, we didn't do anything. We just been praying and doing our life, and God has blessed us with this baby, and the baby was born healthy, and we gave her name focusing on God. Oh, I've seen God.
I have seen God.
Eliana. Her name is Eliana, meaning I have seen God. I have seen God.
Awesome.
So that is the name we gave her, because we have seen God, or God has seen us. That is actually the concept. So her name is Eliana. And for us, we know some people feel like, oh, maybe if you're not getting a child for a long time, then maybe you need to do so much. But for us, I would say God has done the much for us. Yeah. Also, before Eliana was born, our second daughter, before she was born, at one time I remember when I had this ectopic pregnancy, the one doctor mentioned that one of my uterus, my womb is closed or something, like I would never be able to get. I just remembered. But then it happened like 5 years later, we went for a checkup. And then when we went for this checkup, I was told that now they were opened. Yeah, but then when I had that ectopic pregnancy, I was told that something ruptured in my in my system or something. But then we don't know how God just worked through a miracle, something that both my system became okay and they were able to hold the baby. Yeah, so actually the doctors showed us on the picture the scan that we did before and the scan that we did later, and we just feel it was a miraculous healing from God. Yeah, so after this the second miscarriage, we got now, I started expecting our second daughter, and we really thank God because of how our lives have been, wherever we get, especially in terms of getting babies. My husband has been very consistent. He loves me. He's very supportive, and I've seen he's never changing. Even when I lose a baby, when something bad happens to us, he's a constant support. Even the one I'm mentioning, the 3 weeks ago, he took very good care of me. He's been there. He doesn't seem like he's disappointed, like you're not doing nothing. So he has been such a good support, and I thank God for him. Yeah, honestly, for these 18 years of marriage to him, he has been the same. He doesn't change, like he's drinking today, he's being violent, he's looking for another woman, nothing of that sort. I've never experienced anything like that in my 18 years. So deep in my heart, I really know he loves me. Sometimes even he flies to different countries to work, I am never worried that maybe if he goes to this place, he might get someone else, he might mess up, nothing. So that is something that I thank God for.
And
and I would also encourage even other people, maybe if you have a situation, it's good to trust God. Because most of the time, even if we trust God, He's able to give us the right answer. So I feel even in terms of our children, one is 16, one is 3. But it's still a perfect blessing from God. But you see,
we share that in common.
The other one can take care of this other one, and I feel, before we were thinking like, we are done with the giving birth, with the taking care of children, and then it happened that we're pregnant again, and then we got a baby. So we're like, okay, we have to continue being responsible. Same to you, right? So many years after the first baby, you feel like a first-time parent again.
But one can shower the other. You can leave them in the house together.
So like she has two mothers there, basically. Yeah, but she really loves the father. Actually, our daughter loves the dad
Which
so
one?
much.
The two?
The small one. She loves him so much. Yeah, okay, mom and the sister, she also loves us, but he has a special part
Daddy's
for
girl.
Daddy. And he's very proud of her as well.
And the children can hear?
Yes, all of them are hearing.
So how is it raising?
And they can also sign. Both of them sign. My daughter signs very well.
The firstborn?
Yeah. She signs very well.
Wow.
She's a coder.
Oh, she's a coder. Nice.
Yeah, so she signs really well. The second one is also trying, only that she's still young, fine, but she can communicate very well in sign language. And I didn't teach her anything. A, B, C, nothing. We don't teach her, but she just picks it.
She picks.
Because for the simple fact that she's born in a deaf parent family, she just picks it up. When the dad talk to her, when I talk to her, she just picks the signing naturally.
You know, mothers are used to sometimes shouting at their children. And you know, how do you shout when they do something wrong? How do you... Oh... when she does this, they know.
Yeah, then I just ask her in sign language, why are you doing that? And then she can say, sorry, I'm sorry, Mom. Right? Yeah. Also, you know, at times when the mom gives birth to a baby, there's a way they have a special connection with this child.
Yeah.
Like our first daughter, when she was born, we would be in the same house taking care of her, but then we would always sign. Anytime she started seeing these signs when she was very young, of course. And when she would cry, we would still just communicate to her in sign language. But you remember my wife had mentioned that before that our family were concerned if a baby is crying or something.
Oh, yeah.
But whenever our baby would cry, even at night, the mom would just feel, and somehow she would just wake up and start taking care of our lives. We take care of our babies ourselves, and even at night when she wakes up and maybe needs to be attended to, the connection that they have with the mother, there's just a way somebody will wake up, even in the mind, you'll just know like, oh yeah, need this. And so for the baby also, this is the environment she's born in, and of course it's different. That's the only thing she knows.
Yeah.
So when she starts to learn, naturally she starts learning signing. So even for us, when we need to shout, when we need to laugh, of course we do it in a different way, the deaf way, but it's almost the same thing as the other deaf parents do. When the baby is crying, maybe I give her, and when she's crying, for example, if I give the baby and then we start talking to the baby in sign, the baby looks at us and she will understand. Yeah, and then you saw when the baby is crying, they will always throw their legs. There's something they will stretch. And when they do that, we would wake up and look and see, the baby is crying. And also, sometimes even when you make a contact with the baby, that is a strong communication that we've realized we have with our children. We use eye contact, we use sometimes body language or body movements. So, yeah. And for the second baby, it's a little different because now the big sister can talk to her, and sometimes maybe the sister is talking, and then when you go to mom and dad, you have to sign. When you go to sister, you can talk orally. So I think for her, she kind of even has more advantage because she's able to hear, she's able to learn speech differently. And for both of us, when we're there, she naturally starts touching me and getting my attention by tapping me and even signing. And even when the sister goes to school, she knows. Automatically, she switches to signing all through. When the sister comes back from school, she starts to speak to her. So I think it's just, these are things that it just learns naturally. But you see, for the first daughter, it was an environment, a quiet environment where it's only us. It was all signs. Yeah, we would tell her, no, that's wrong. But all this is happening in sign language. So we would teach her, no, you don't do that. That's bad. That's good. And so she learned. And sometimes we would ask her, why are you doing this? And she would say sorry. So naturally, we would even give a warning, like, if you do that again, please don't do this. Yeah, so the same way you're saying you could shout.
Yeah.
Even for us, we would just do it,
shout.
but then sometimes just in sign language. Yeah, that's our life. And also about our first daughter, she started signing when I think she was 1 year old.
Oh.
When she was 1 year old, when you tell her it's eating time, go to sleep, she would know, because the entire house was quiet. It was just the two of us. And then we've never even had, even if we bring in a nanny, our nannies have always been deaf.
Oh.
We don't bring in a hearing person. So that means, of course, they started speaking late, maybe at 3 years old. And some of our friends were worried, like, this child is so big, they're not speaking yet. But then we were like, no, it doesn't matter, she will just speak. And true, the two of us, we were never worried, because we knew our children would normally speak slightly later, at age 3 or something, because they start signing very early, but they will not speak because they don't hear any speech from anybody. The second daughter as well, I think she became oral a bit faster because of the help of the sister. Yeah, so that's some different that we see. So herself, she signs and she talks. The first daughter, it's pure signing. So she's originally a coder, because there was nobody talking. She didn't hear any voice. But for the second, it's a bit of a mixture. Yeah, because her mind is a little confused, talking and signing, all this at the same time. Sometimes it's a little confusing for her. But yeah, so that's different. But for our daughter, I think it was really easy. Sometimes our daughter even the bigger one encourages the small one, like, sign, because for her, the signing is in her blood. Yeah, so I think for the deaf parents, sometimes maybe if the children talk a bit late, that is just normal, because of the environment where they're born.
How do you two fight? How do you conflict?
Okay, so to be honest, for these 18 years, we've never had like a big conflict. I'm really trying to remember a time when we really needed to fight. I don't remember. We have small conflicts there, like disagreements here and there. For example, maybe if the children sometimes can bring conflict. Like my first daughter would meet the father and tell, like, I want to go out, I want to go do this thing. And then the dad says, oh, it's okay, you go. Then the daughter comes to me. She says, my dad has said that I can go out and do this. So I go back and meet her, and I'm asking him, why did you allow her maybe to do 1, 2, 3 things? Because, you know, it's risky or there or something. So the two of us would sit and discuss. And then we've also trying to teach our children that whatever you want, it has to be the two of us agreeing. Not just one person. And again, sometimes in terms of communication, maybe I do something first and then later on I inform him. Then he's like, okay, maybe I go to town and then he comes at home and then I'm not there. I didn't inform him before. Then he asks me, where are you? I'm like, I'm in town. So he's like, but you didn't tell me. So that communication, also we've learned over the years, just small things like that, like you need to inform the other person first. So, and also something else that really helped us is learning that whenever these conflicts come up, we sit and discuss. Something else, I can get angry, and then when I get angry, I try to talk and tell him something. He's always quiet. He'll just be quiet. He will not do, because the children might see us. Then after maybe we're done everything, the children have gone to sleep, then we sit. And then we bring up the topic and discuss. So this did not go right. How can we solve it? But to be honest, these 18 years, I won't really pick like we've had a big disagreement. Just small misunderstandings. Those ones have been there. And we just sit and discuss. We understand each other, where to improve. And for him, I really appreciate him. He has really taught me so much. Because for me, for example, I get angry very fast. So when I'm mad so fast, then I'm also sensitive to maybe like I don't want to talk to him again. So for him, he would be like, the Bible says this and this and this. So I always learn. I'm like, yeah, you are right. And I keep improving. For the children, also I've really tried to follow after us. And he has really taught me much, I must say. To be honest, he's been such a blessing. Before I married him, Of course, both of us who were in church. He went to youth camps, a lot of them, and he learned. He got rooted deeper in Christianity and the Word of God than me. For me, I didn't have much, so I had a lot of things to learn and improve from him. Yeah. I think one biggest conflict was in the communication area. Yeah, I don't inform him of something, he realized something. So that communication, both of us, we used to really find like, oh, so we need to improve, then we go back. So I think for us, maybe just that communication. And also learning each other's weakness. Because we know we can't use his weakness against him or something. Yeah, but we've constantly kept improving. Maybe you didn't tell me about this. Then we discussed this about already. I mean, why are we doing the same thing? So maybe I tell you if you leave your phone or something. So it's mostly been just learning, and I also learned what are his weaknesses, what are my weaknesses, how can we support each other, how can we both improve, and with the help of God. I think God has been helping us to really make it better.
Wow. I would like to, your side of the story. How do you fight?
Yeah, you know me, I'm a man, so of course I don't like fighting. I actually grew in a family where it wasn't more of, there were no violence per se. So, meaning, when I say I'm humble, it doesn't mean like nimekaliwa or something, but if you abuse me, of course I will get angry. But then I also learned that is the world way of resolving conflicts for me. Sometimes I've seen people disagreeing and having conflicts, but for me and her, I think I don't really like fighting, or even sometimes I see a couple abusing each other. You're not even thinking straight, saying very hurtful words to each other. But for me, as a Christian and having grown up, just learning more about Christianity, my life with her has been, as she mentioned, the major it's been communication area, and we keep improving. For her, sometimes she lets me know of something, then we agree. And I also learned from her actually, like what she's sensitive about. I know there are things that I do and she's so reacting very fast. Like she gets angry. I'm thinking 1 minute we were happy, next minute she's different or she's sad. Yeah, she doesn't want to talk to me. I'm trying to engage her. Yeah, but you see, I know when she's happy, the entire house gets to be illuminated and it's a lot of joy at home. So for me, probably something else I would say is I can get busy and maybe last minute I inform her like I need to do this and it's right now because I forgot to inform her before. And then she's like, okay, am I like just your house nanny? You tell me you're doing this right now. So who am I to you? And every time she would say something, I learn, oh yeah, that's not right. So we need to just improve, both of us, do something that makes her comfortable. Every time I ensure like we discuss a family way. And even from my side, it's been a lot of learning from her as well. Yeah, so sometimes she tells me something and I learn, I understand like, oh yeah, she doesn't like this. So I improve also on my end. Other than that, I think maybe sometimes when we are sitting and discussing, we love to be direct. So just to have to be open. And that's also something that I learned from her. Like we have to be very open in our discussions. Where there's a conflict, we put it on the table. And both of us also, we try to be very careful that the children don't see, especially when we're having a disagreement or we're having a conflict. Then normally we are careful to protect the children so we don't transfer this to the children. Yeah, so I think that has been good. When the problem comes up, we try to just control, because we know there's no marriage that is perfect. Yeah, so because it's not a bed of roses, we know once in a while something comes up, and whenever it comes up, we give it attention and we don't ignore. When there's a challenge, we don't ignore that there's a conflict. We have to take time, and because that helps our relationship to continue being better. Yeah, she can call me, and we know also many marriages out here, maybe people just do. They are Christians, yeah, but then maybe they don't take time to keep check on each other, like, are you okay? So everybody's making their own decision, but we've learned that we have to check with each other, like we have to be in agreement before we do something, because that is the key and the secret to a beautiful marriage that we've been continue to enjoy. Talking more. Yeah, we also have weaknesses, huh? Yeah, especially the communication areas we've said. I think that has been our major weakness. And something else, maybe, like for me personally, I sometimes plan something, then I inform her so late. And then she's like, you've been planning this and you didn't let me know. And I'm like, not really. Sometimes it's a very important thing that I can't even change. Yeah, but I understand she gets really, this makes her unhappy. So she prefers that I let her know in plans before, and we agree. If we need to adjust something, then she also needs me to be flexible, and I've learned that. Again, I would also say, maybe when you're planning, sometimes we even plan to go out, not just the same place at home. Maybe when we want to discuss something, we sometimes prefer to go out, maybe once a week or twice, maybe in 2 weeks. We take time, we go out, and then we sit somewhere very nice. And not a must to have like very special food, like we go to Java or a very expensive place. No, we can go somewhere in a very simple place. We take tea, we take porridge, and then we sit in a quiet place. We discuss, we resolve what was the issue about, and then after we resolve, we come back. But you see, the problem is if we keep for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then the problem just gets worse. So we try whenever possible, even a night out or something, we sit, we discuss, we resolve, then we come back home. Yeah, and also we try to give our children their time. Because we know this is also important. Yeah, so sometimes she also goes out with the daughter. She can take time to go with the daughter out alone. Me, I take care of this other daughter. Then they have a daughter-father chat, encourage each other. Yeah, so, and that helps our family to stay bonded. And we hope even in future, our bond will just become strong. Another thing I would say also, the church has been very helpful. The church, we go to church with our children together. Our daughter is now part of the youth, and as we are part of our deaf church, and he's the leader, he's the pastor of the deaf congregation that we go to. And I also support him even in that ministry. Whenever I need something, like the women group, I lead them as well. To help one another wherever there's a challenge. You understand, oh, your issue is different from mine, then we learn. I also give them examples of my own journey to help them improve. So one thing I would say is marriage cannot grow and cannot succeed without people willing to learn. You have to be willing to learn from each other. We learn from one another, we learn from other people, then we choose what is best for us to help improve our marriage. So at couples or even people who are not couple, the people who are even dating, it's important to start learning. So learning is a constant thing. If you want a successful marriage, then learning is constant. You have to keep learning and be ready, because nobody is perfect, and we depend on God's grace to help us even as we do this.
What's the name of the church? Where is it located? This is interesting.
Nairobi Baptist Church. The church is on Gong Road, just Daystar University, at Daystar University. Yeah, so we're actually partnering. Our deaf congregation is under partnership with Nairobi Baptist Church. So we have a room there where we will have an independent deaf congregation that I'm leading. From around 11 to 1:30. Yeah, that's the service that we have for the deaf people.
Nice. This is really nice. I really commend Nairobi Baptist for that. That is really great. Well, if there are people who watch this show waiting for me to ask about sex. Is sex that important in marriage? They just wait for me to mention that one. It is very important. How?
But it's not like it means you have to be every time just having sex. But it helps us to connect, So if you don't have any sex, how are we going to connect? I mean, it just helps us to bond more because God made sex actually.
Yeah.
And when God made and said for marriage, this is it is your right, it is part of you. When He made Adam and Eve and He blessed them, He gave them blessing through sex. They were able to get Cain, Abel, and we know sex is really important.
Oh,
for me.
yeah.
I feel so. Yeah, she has said so. Sex is important in marriage because marriage, sex is not only the goal of marriage, but then this is part of the things that, of course, we know happens in marriage. And sometimes people are like, you can show off. I have a very good partner. She's beautiful. You walk around with them showing off, but then you cannot have sex. You don't connect in terms of your body. Yeah, but we know for us, sex in marriage, we just believe it helps us to bond more. And we know people do it differently. Some people do it every day. But then I think when it's done with love, then it's very important.
And just because they can't hear, it doesn't mean it's not happening, right?
When it comes to this, the hearing, the deaf, we have feeling.
Yes.
Some people I know, they are thinking, how do deaf people have sex? It's the same thing. I mean, we can't hear, I can't hear only. But then the rest of my body, the rest of my system operates the same as a hearing person. Just the hearing only that we don't have.
Oh, yeah.
But all these things, especially when we have a way of communicating amongst us, I can watch, I can enjoy movies.
Yes.
So my life, your emotions, we have all these things. Yeah. So the situation only happens, I know mostly we deaf people, we have a big challenge in communication in terms of accessing education. Those ones are hard. Getting a job, those are very difficult for us. The hearing can easily access education, access information, go to university, get a job. So those ones makes us different especially when it comes to education. And most of the time we find that our parents don't even know, where do I take a deaf child? Where is the school? So they get stuck and they take much longer time. And even when they eventually succeed to take them to school, finding a job becomes another challenge. Some people think maybe the deaf can only do casual jobs or something. And so that makes some people might think that we are lesser or something like that. It's something that the world maybe has treated to just view us differently. But then the truth of the matter is, we can do anything. Basically, we can cook, we can be managers, we're drivers. We do the same way. We have sex and everything else. So so just the same way the hearing people live, even us, we have our own way of living. Only the circumstances, the situation may be different, but nearly the same thing. Again, sometimes I know the hearing people feel so sorry for us. Like, you are deaf, oh my God. So, like before when I was doing my cereals business, I was okay. I would sell, I would interact with customers. So sometimes the hearing would pass and they're like, oh my God, look at this deaf person. She can't hear. And she's just telling. But I'm like, no, the other hearing people are selling cereals. I'm just a normal woman doing my business. I have a family. I have everything that I feel God has really blessed me. So why do you feel sorry for me? Just for being deaf? I think it's just a negative attitude that should not be encouraged. So because we are all the same, we are all one.
Okay.
And also we have some deaf people who are better than hearing.
Yes.
Right? They're like the organization is working for. We have deaf people who are doing very well. They're professionals. They're experts in their areas. And we are proud of ourselves. And sometimes what we don't like is when maybe the hearing people are asking, oh, now that you're deaf. There's a time that we had a hearing neighbor, and they were like, now if you guys are deaf, both of you are deaf, when your child is crying, how will you even hear? and they were feeling so sorry for us. That sometimes makes us feel bad. But we know, as we explained before, when the baby is crying, of course they'll be making some movement, and we are able to be alerted. We will take care of our children very well. Yeah.
Wow. We can now do better. We have a role to do better. Maybe you can just add one point. What can this hearing or the society do to make your community, to do better for your community? There are things maybe we have ignored. I've already learned my lesson here on the show. So what can the world out there do to accommodate you better? Yeah.
So for me, I would just want to encourage the society. When you meet a deaf person feeling so sorry for us, oh, she can't hear, they can't do this, that is not helpful. Because if you see maybe one deaf person begging out on the street, don't assume that that's the representation of all the deaf people having a miserable life and only able to do maybe begging. Not really. Even for the hearing people, we've seen some hearing children begging. They don't have any disability, but they're on the streets. They're begging. So the same case, if you see one deaf person maybe living, not doing very well, it's not like now you have to just feel so sorry for us and not thinking you can give us an opportunity. If you have an opportunity, please allow us to be part of whatever you're doing. Because we would also be happy to teach the hearing people our culture, deaf culture, our deaf way, so that you don't just see me and you see the pity, the sorry for me. Yeah, like you see, the sign for help, what I'm doing. Many times I feel when you sign help or when you sign it, the vice versa. Help. Can I help you?
Yeah.
So now some people sign help, but then it's like you're oppressing me. You're making me to go down. Yeah, so you're not helping me. Yeah, so also something about just being inclusive.
Yeah.
Try to be inclusive when you're communicating. Try to help us to be able to access whatever maybe information. Because the society, we know sometimes you don't intentionally think of involving us, even in terms of accessing information. Yeah, because when you think of the word help, you're just thinking of the deaf being very miserable, but then there's a way you can be of help. Maybe if you give us interpretation, even in government, if you allow the services to be accessible. It was already in the bill, and we have this thing that Kenya Sign Language is the third official language, but then most people still don't treat it as such. Yeah, so we just want to encourage the society to be more mindful. When something comes up, also just try to think of how you can be more inclusive, make that program more inclusive for the deaf people. And it's not for us, we the deaf people, we actually like just one tribe, so we don't look at each other like you're from this place. So like right now when you're interviewing us here, we know most couples also, people would want to know like, how about the deaf couple? And we'll be happy if other deaf people also can learn something from us. Yeah, because people do things differently, and I feel inclusion is really key. Yeah.
Inclusion.
The deaf, the hearing, just try to be inclusive more. You can get interpretation. If you have interpretation, that really helps to break the communication barrier. Yeah, but this thing of just coming to us, oh my God, you can only go and farm in the village, you can't do much. How will you take care of a child if you're deaf? How will you know if your child is crying? Maybe some people think deaf people, the only job we can give them is maybe to go and work in the farms as a farmer. But then we have other people who can do other jobs, even office work, very well, if you give an opportunity. So give opportunity in education, give opportunity for us to go to school, to learn a skill, and we can come back and contribute in national development. Something else about in the family setup. Sometimes maybe people feel like, oh, this is a deaf person, they have not married. Then the family decide to look for somebody, look for a partner, and just throw at them. Because, oh, now that they are deaf, maybe they can't even find a partner. But sometimes, I don't know what the situation is. Though for me, I would really encourage that give these people time. Allow them to live their life. and don't just make such decision. For example, me and my wife, when we got our children, sometimes people would be like so worried. So now if you give birth, then it means your children will be deaf.
No.
It's better you marry a hearing person so that you can give a balam. But that's not even true. Because God can use us in different way. Because you see, God made me hearing, I believe, for a very good reason and purpose that He's accomplishing through me.
Yeah.
But then some people feel like this deaf couple need help. Maybe we take their child and we teach them how to talk. But then we don't feel like that is really not necessary.
Yeah.
So for us, like we've shared our story, we take care of our children. We're able to go through challenges together and we get over them.
Yeah.
So for you, how you take care of your children, even us, we have a way with God's help of just taking care of our family. Yeah, so and also mostly families getting into these deaf families and wanting to micromanage everything that the deaf are doing, even as adults, that is not good. So I don't know how best we can help, but I also think something else for the hearing, just try to be more involved in our lives. Then you will learn better. Because some of the things we do, we know it's out of ignorance.
Thank you.
And I also want to appreciate you so much, Rodah, even for this opportunity of this giving us this interview to create awareness, because we know some hearing people think even getting married, a deaf person cannot get married, but we are here as a living testimony.
18
we are
years.
Married, and we believe we still have a great future.
Amen.
So we just need to learn from each other, and this issue of feeling, oh, deaf people can't do this, we can't, don't focus on what we can't. Because there are many other deaf people, families who have children, even some deaf couple have 10 children, 12 children, different families, and they're doing well. Some deaf people are professionals in their own fields, and they're doing very well. So I think more awareness, more this kind of interview need to happen. So, and also just the hearing, thinking like if we are both deaf, we must give birth to deaf children. Those are just stereotype and misconceptions that are not true. Like for our case, we've given birth to 2 hearing children. And God has a perfect plan for each and every one of us. So we appreciate really this opportunity.
Thank you.
And we'd like more hearing people to be more involved with us.
Well, I thank you so much. The last question I would ask is about 18 years. What has kept you together? You know, you've been mentioning how people pity you, people think, oh, because you're deaf you can, but you've been married for 18 years. How many hearing people have separated, divorced, left each other? So if it was the years keeping marriage, we would all be married, right? So what has kept you for 18 years? The key to a healthy marriage.
Love. I would say number one, it's love. Like we mentioned, I mentioned my husband has never changed. From the first day he promised to love me, he has loved me. And something else, communication is very key. Another one I would say is sex. Sex is important. So all this has kept us. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes we get angry, we can get misunderstanding. But for the 18 years, I've never actually even contemplated, even thinking about divorce. It has never crossed my mind. Yeah, because the problem comes when people get into marriage and then you start changing. You're not the same person. You're not keeping into the vows. Yeah, but for me, I think the moment I promised to love him and remaining faithful, he also made a promise to me, and he has never changed. I have never changed. We've remained faithful. Yeah, so the same question you're asking us, actually, as other people have been asking us, how, even the deaf, even the hearing, like we'd want to learn from how have you managed for 18 years? 18. So for me, just to repeat again, it's been love. Love is key. Communication, sex. I would put those 3.
Wow. What about I remember Jared.
For me, I would say for these 18 years, yeah, you know, it's like when you're on a journey and you can get to potholes during your journey, you can get to bumps. So marriage for me, it's like that. So anytime we get to a pothole, we fill up that pothole, we make it. So whenever you get to a bump, we know those ones happen. But every time it's learning. And something else, I think, making God the center. Because the enemy always tries in different ways, but then we put God at the center. And that helps us. So, and as my wife has mentioned, love is actually key. And I love when she put it at number 1. Yeah. I remember when I was telling you how we started seeing her, and then went to pray, like, God, deep within me, I really loved her. I knew I want this girl and I love her. But then was like, okay, let's wait, let's pray about this. Yeah, so for me, I remember from the first day how I felt about her. So love has been there, and love has really kept us through the journey. Yeah, whenever things come, I remember the love, and I've kept loving her. The same for her. As she has mentioned, communication. Communication is really key. Yeah, because we have to be in agreement. We have to discuss things, and once we're in agreement, then it becomes really easy. I know sometimes we get so busy with things, there are a lot of things that need our attention, we can alter a bit, but then we keep trying to make it the best. So our life, we know it's just the same as, it's not exactly the same as other people, but for us, this has worked for us.
Wow.
Yeah, so the 3, love, communication, agreement, yeah, it has made our marriage work for these years. Yeah, and also with God being the center of it. We've involved God in our marriage, we pray together, we fellowship. Yeah, if we're just doing things on our own way, or allowing other people to interfere with our marriage, to decide things on our behalf, where we go, how we want to manage our family, then I don't think we would be here. Yeah, many people have actually divorced because maybe you bring another girl into your marriage, you bring another person. That one, a marriage cannot stand. Yeah, sometimes even the in-laws, family might say, this is our son, we want his family to go this way. Then you only impact negatively. Something else, I think, in terms of maybe finances, how we manage our finances, we're very transparent. Always we decide together. We have to make decisions together. I don't hide something or her hiding. Yeah. Maybe I've just remembered one thing. As I said, that sometimes the society might interfere. Yeah, like you've seen today in our society, most women like to enhance or change maybe even their physical features, their body. They want a bigger body or something smaller. But then for us, we've just been the way we promised, and I knew that he loved me the way I am. Other things that you see, maybe you can see a woman that is looking better than me, but then I'm never worried because God made it for us to meet and to get married, and I believe he's keeping us, and we never change. And I know, for instance, for me as a woman, sometimes the temptation for women want to change, want to do this, but I know God has given what God has given me. I'm very contented and I'm satisfied with that. And I also appreciate that both our families are not interfering. When a family comes maybe to stay with us, we have had an experience before. When we bring our in-laws or other families, then easily we can start having problems. So we decided that for us, we can have our families visiting, but then we have to make boundaries. We have to put very clear boundaries of how we are going to be engaging. So when I see there's somebody bringing problem, then we have to sit and discuss, and then we change on it. Yeah, so that has also helped us to improve over the years. But first, I also really want to appreciate God. I think we thank God for it. It's not really more about us, but God. And I pray we grow all together.
Yeah, amen. 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 Thank you so much. Ooh, guys. I told you today, if you've never sent me MPESA, send today. Send today. Oh, this was my interview of the year. I have really enjoyed having this conversation with you. Oh, there's a book here. You have a teen girl, so we can gift this to your girl. This is for your daughter who is a teenager. It's a book I wrote with my sister. You can get more details from her video as well. And there's also a calendar here. You guys can go pray for your marriage using that calendar. Like, I feel like giving you even the flowers and the glasses because you have been so good and we have learned a lot from you. What have you learned from today's interview? I'd like to know so that we continue growing together. Our marriages are all unique, but when we trust God and put God at the center, they will all work and we will all enjoy this institution of marriage. So I am really grateful. God bless you. Say hi to your girls. Yes, and I was hoping you're coming with them so that I just see them. Yeah, but I'm glad that you guys found time to come today. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Guys, I'll see you on the next one. If you haven't subscribed to this show, please go ahead and do so. And for any questions you have, any connections with them, let me know. My number is always on the description of this video. And I also want to appreciate you, Adoyo. I hope to see you more on this show doing that. I really wanted to look at you and I was supposed, this was a great one. I have learned a lot and I pray that God will help us to be more inclusive. Bye. I'll see you next time.